Welcome to the future.
Who's this clown?
Not clown. Joker.
Avengers!
Assemble.
Nobody tampers with the equipment except Tony Stark.
Good idea.
United, the Avengers are strong.
Hawkeye, hands off.
Fool! Have you forgotten my invincible magnetic power?
Not this time, Magneto.
My mutant brain senses danger.
Something unseen is slowly spreading its poison, edging tempers.
Think carefully before you do this.
You filthy criminals.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You unlock this door with the...
Hello, comic book fam. It is Two Fat Guys Pool List. It is episode 196 of the live shows, and welcome all who are here watching this live. And welcome all who are here that are watching this as a past episode. We do very much appreciate all of you for watching and listening to our dumbasses talk about comics. We so do dearly appreciate all of you. What's up, Lord? What up, Patty? What up, Joe? I'm doing great.
Too. I have a 6 a.m. alarm.
Other than dreading a 6 a.m. alarm, I don't. I do have to get my kids.
You wake up at like 5 a.m. because you just like it.
No, I just wake up at 5. You are correct. I do wake up early for no damn reason. I try not to though. But anyway, welcome to another episode. It's a great episode, action-packed episode. It's pretty thick. A lot of great books this week. I think you said it during the pre-show, Nate, that there weren't really. There were a lot of great books, but there wasn't anything that like blew me out of the water, except for maybe one. I do have one that I really, really enjoyed, and it lit the fire under me when it comes to like that ambitious spirit of wanting to continue to read, but there just aren't any more pages. So I will say that there is one issue of a book this week that had me going, so that will definitely be my pick of the week. But before we get to that, let's go ahead and talk about our show sponsor, which is Collected Comics and Games here in the DFW area. That's right, that's where Nate and I get our books. It is our LCS, where we pick up our single issues, our back issues, our omnibus, our trades, our hardcovers, our treasury editions, our card games, our D&D, our Warhammer 40,000K, I'm sure I said that wrong, our dice, our action figures, our models, our cookbooks, our posters, our did I say models? I think I said models. Or statues, plushies. We get all that over at Collected here in the DFW area. They have 2 locations, one in Hearst and one in Fort Worth. The one in Fort Worth is the one that we go to, but Brent has an awesome location up in Hearst where he has an amazing. Both stores have an amazing just collection put together. So.
It's almost like they put it in the name.
Yep. So go over there and check it out if you're in the DFW area. But if you're not, check out their website, staycollected.com. That is where you can get all those cool things and more. They got some exclusive variant covers for comics there. So go check out staycollected.com if you can't hit them up physically. Also, we're on the road to 1,250 subscribers. That's right. When we hit that, we will be giving away a slab. And when we hit 1,250, we're giving away this Uncanny X-Men #1 from 2019, 9.8 CGC grade, signed by Jim Chung. We will be giving this away when we hit that goal. So if you're not already subbed, hit that sub button. And we have some other slabs, that we're giving away when we hit certain sub goals. But when we hit 2,000, we're giving away this Thor #1 Nick Klein sketch variant, signed by the great Donny Cates, written by the great Donny Cates, but it's signed by Donny Cates. So you're going to want to hit that up and check that out. So again, make sure you're subbed, hit that sub button. We do give away those, and we'll make a post when we hit our sub goal so everyone can show up to the live show and make sure that they're entered in. Also, by that way, we give them away live, so we do like a spinning wheel. It's really cool. So yeah, check it out. All right, let's go ahead and talk about this week's comics. Also, let me know in the chat if you have seen our most recent episode of Secret Origin with Kevin Garcia. It was a really fun interview that I did, and I think I had a really good time with that conversation. So I hope everyone else really enjoyed that. The next episode should drop this Wednesday. Haven't started editing it yet, but I sat down with I want to say his name right, Moawe Ayodele, who is the writer of Storm. It was a really awesome conversation. We talked for about an hour. So nice. I got to get that down to about 30 minutes. But it was an amazing talk, and I had a really good time speaking with him and talking about Storm and some of his other comics. More specifically, My Grandfather is a God. Definitely go check that out. I think he's doing some really important and impactful work, but also his Storm run. He dropped some tidbits of what's going to happen in that run, and I'm pretty excited. Also, he teases something that he's a part of in the X Office that's coming in March. So you're gonna want to check that out. So I will be editing. I will start editing that tomorrow. But yeah, it was a good time. I had a really good time with that. So be on the lookout for that. I'll probably drop the thumbnail preview tomorrow, and then we'll just kind of go down the road. But anyway, John coming in with the super chat. What up, John?
Thanks.
Says my favorite book, or my favorite site book by a mile was Jason Aaron's TMNT. ASM and Absolute Wonder Woman round out the rest of my top 3. I hate Venom War, by the way, terrible.
Oh no,
I haven't touched a Venom book in a good while, nor am I going to when Ewing picks up. He's relaunching Venom. I'm good.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's go ahead and get on it with the show. First up is Napalm Lullaby, issue number 7 from Rick Remender. Holy hell. You were behind, you said, and you had to catch up two issues prior to this one. So I'm sure this was a shell shock, specifically after reading issue 6 and then jumping into 7.
It was even more of a shell shock when I didn't realize I hadn't caught up, and I read the entirety of issue 7 and said, what the fuck is going on? And then went back and realized I hadn't read 5 and 6. So I got to read all of them together. So I have a really fresh perspective.
Yeah. Issue 7, was a curveball for me, and 6 was like a massive shift change. But essentially, what we got is we had I don't know the name of the characters, but the guy with the mask, Sam is living in a world that looks completely different than what we've been used to for 7 issues. It's like he's got a normal life, but there's just this constant reminder of like, you don't talk about religion. Don't dare say any kind of heretic style language while you're out in society. But it's almost like he's a detective in this random world. And then he's a reporter. I'm summarizing it a lot, but the most of the issue is him trying to find out this truth that he can't figure out. And then he immediately gets knocked out of the world, and we see the character, essentially, I think it's his father, who is the savior, put that in quotation marks, of this entire series, who is saving him from this strange reality, or normal reality, if you will. And we find out that he's waking up from what happened in issue 6, which was Sarah going berserk. And we've been informed by the father, who is the Christ-like figure, saying, you have to kill her. You have to kill her, or her reality that she's building will consume the entire planet. Which, I mean, yeah, but I mean, it wasn't, sunshine and rainbows on the other side either. So, like, it might be worth it. I don't know. It was an interesting take. I'll just say I didn't know. I mean, I never know what to expect with Napalm Lullaby, and so, I mean, I don't want to say I wasn't surprised, because I was expecting something else. So I was surprised, but at the same time, I wasn't, because I've never, like, every time, I just don't know what to expect with the book. I never know what to expect. And I think that's the beauty of the book. It's intentional misdirection and unapologetic. Rick Remender is completely unapologetic in what he's trying to convey in this book and how he delivers it.
Yeah. Well, and as much as I liked this issue, I will say that after it was all said and done, I was a little bit more hopeful that we were going to get a little more. Like, the majority of this book is Sam living in this alternate world, and like, that's cool. But we spent time with these, with the new characters, and like, it's like, oh, he's got kids. You care about his wife. It's like, oh, I'm spending some time with her. Like, we got 6 pages of them interacting, and like, now that's just gone forever. Seems like a little bit of wasted time. I would have rather much more of like seen like Sam's inner thoughts or even his direct I mean, literally, the last time that we saw Sam and his father is in a cryogenic chamber saying, he's like, we can't let this fucker out. And he actually was saying, I'm just going to kill him. I'm not going to risk it. I'm going to kill him right now. And you think he would have more of a reaction if the guy that he thought was literally going to be the end of the universe was coming to rip him out of a dream and back to reality.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a little nitpicky, but like, I wish we would have gotten a little bit more of the out of the dream experience.
Well, I think next issue, that's all we're going to get. I mean, I think that's just...
It is.
Where we're going. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I had a blast with it, but I do see what you're saying. Joe came in. My top 3 comics of the week are West Coast Avengers, Absolute Wonder Woman, and Spider-Boy. Holden coming in saying, howdy, Absolute Wonder Woman straight up gave me chills. Patois, patois, patois. And then Joe coming in again. Fun thing happened. I accidentally grabbed 2 issues of Spider-Boy, but made it fun because my daughter and I did a table read of Spider-Boy. Had a blast. Hell yeah.
That's cool.
It does sound like a great time, for sure. All right, let's keep moving. Next up, we have Ultra Mega issue number 7 from James Herron. Fast-paced, unapologetic. I will say we did get some context, like in the sense of like less setting up and more just straight up action. And I think by the end of the issue, I was able to piece enough together to know like what the hell was actually going on. But I will say, like mid-issue, I was like, wait, what? You know, and what it was all of the humans turning into monsters, into kaijus. Initially, I was like, wait, how is this happening? But then we had the mother of monsters or whatever show up and, you know, do her thing. Right. But this episode was straight up just like adrenaline and speed, and less. I mean, there was some momentum build in the story. With the mini Ultra Megas that showed up and created like life-size version. I don't even know how to explain. This issue was a cluster in the sense of like I couldn't really explain to you what happened. I just know that the artwork and the colorists, you know, all of it was just like fucking on point. Like the artwork was really good. But we were towards the end, we did get back into the like cosmic ultimate protector of it all with the eyeball that infected our main character to turn him into an Ultra Mega.
Yeah.
But it was a crazy issue. I will say that. I probably need to go back and reread it, but it was very fast. It wasn't as thick with words as previous issues.
Okay.
But where there were words, it was kind of thick.
Interesting to say that a $8 or 64-page book was a fast read. That usually doesn't happen.
No, and that what it was there was just a lot of action, a lot of fast pace, a lot of just a lot going on. Mm-hmm. I think Ultra Mega, when it ends, whenever that is, if we get another arc or not, will read incredibly smooth in one sitting. Or in a very collected format where you're able to like digest it all kind of at once.
Right.
It'd be a lot to read, but I think it would do. I just think in single issues, it in some instances, I think for some readers, not me, but for some readers, it's a disservice because it's not a casual book. This is not just like Napalm Lullaby. It's not a casual read, but the fact that this is all book and no ads, and it's $7.99, and it's way more than 32 pages. Like it's unapologetic. It does not care about your feelings. It is just what it is, and it's raw. I will say I'm waiting. There was like somewhat of a callback to the brutality of the first arc. Remember, like the first 2 issues, it was very gory.
Yeah.
Kind of gross. Like we were very close to getting back to that. Very close. Like not quite there yet. I feel like it's coming. But we've got the Ultra Megas on the Ultra Megas that are showing up that seem to be bad showing up on Earth. And then ironically enough, the mother of monsters defending the Earth with a gun that shoots out humans who turn into kaijus the minute it hits the Ultra. It was a crazy book.
Yeah,
it was a crazy book. I liked it. It was fun, but I can see where some people are kind of like, I'm out.
Okay.
So, yeah. Anyway.
Well, I'm glad you're not out.
All right, next up, our last issue of Frankenstein from Michael Walsh, issue 4. I will continue. Overall, I liked it. I liked the entire series. I thought it was fun. But I stick to my description and a review of it, which is it is Michael Walsh's art style and take on a classic story, Frankenstein. And we knew what that was when we were signing up for it. We knew there wasn't going to be anything just completely outrageous and over the top. The cleverness and the unique viewpoint of Walsh is what we came here for, which was the body parts, right? So in this one we did the eyes and obviously the conclusion of the story. It did everything that I could ask for, which was like Michael Walsh's art style, his style of writing, and his unique perspective on a classic take, on a classic tale, which I liked. So I enjoyed it. I would be lying to you if there wasn't a part of me that when we first started reading this, there was like, all right, there's going to be some freaky shit. Like there's going to be something in here that Walsh is just going to throw at us. Like, whoa, like didn't see that from Frankenstein. And that didn't happen. Like it just didn't accumulate.
Yeah. I will say overall, this has been a good series. I was expecting a little bit more from the ending here. Because I think one of the things that I've liked so far that Walsh has done has made the points that he's trying to make unique to him. And also, it requires a little bit of digging, but like it's also out there. Like, right, like the last issue, the heart issue, like we clearly see like the direct effects of whose heart the monster gets and how it's as a monster. And in this issue, we really don't get that because, I would say that the eyes aren't that big of a play into what happens in the rest of this book. It is a little bit because you can ultimately see. I mean, the thing that the conclusion Michael Walsh is getting here is the conclusion of Frankenstein in general, right? It's like, who's the monster? Is the monster, or is Frankenstein the monster? Like, is the doctor the monster? And like, clearly, he's the one with the green evil eyes throughout this issue. So, obviously, point taken. But I just was. It felt very quick, and it felt very by the book, and it did not have the extra feeling that I was hoping for. Now, I think that sounds a little more negative than I intended to, but it just when I read it, I was like, wait a minute, that took me like 8 minutes. And so I stopped and read it again and went really, really, really slowly, and then started picking up on things. It was like, okay, now I kind of see what he's going for here, but I think it was too subtle.
I would agree with that. It did feel rushed. Like by the end, I was like, "Wait, or it's not like this is the no, it is." And I think what felt out of place was probably the ending, and also the subtle yet very obvious, heartfelt take, which was the boy at the end. Like, do you see him, or whatever it was when he was out looking out at the ocean, or like that to me felt a tad, not a tad. It felt forced, if I'm being absolutely honest. So, but. Like you said, overall, I think the entire series is super fun, and I like the twist that Walsh put on it, which is the body parts. But if there was a weak issue, it was this one, I think, compared to everything else.
I agree.
What up, Barbarian? Thank you for subscribing. We do appreciate it.
Nice.
What up, yo? Thank you for subscribing. All right, let's keep moving on. Next up, we have Void Rivals issue 14, and we got a Hot Rod sighting. We got more than a Hot Rod sighting. Hot Rod is here. And things are finally starting to fall in place, right? Things are starting to finally, get their shit together. And we've got the two rivaling factions that are basically the same, kind of connecting the dots. We've got the Transformers kind of connecting the dots. We've got this random space pig villain who keeps on showing up in issues and like literally has like a page and then he goes away. That's kind of weird. Yeah. and then we've got, I forget the name of them, but we've got these, villains of the Transformers who seem to be kind of behind all of this bullshit, moving towards the planet. So, planets. I'm digging it. I thought this was a fun issue. Having Hot Rod show up really gets me going. Like, I'm like, hell yeah, here we go. I feel like we were starting to lay groundwork for like the next arc, and I will say I thought we got a really good dynamic between our two protagonists when they warped into that reality and they were like trying to explain to each other what the hell was going on. And when the female basically bit the head off of the male character, when he like didn't lead with like the most important thing, which is I forget what it was, but she's like, you lead with that information. Like, I was all right. We're starting
that they're all the same.
Oh, that they know,
and that they're colluding with each other to
like,
keep them fighting against
openly working on civil war. Right. I liked that. I liked that a lot, and I like seeing Hot Rod. So I enjoyed the issue a lot.
Yeah, I liked it too. Obviously, like I said the last time we reviewed this, I enjoy the behind the scenes stuff, the religious stuff, the like all of that, and we got a little bit of that this time, and so I'm happy with it. I enjoyed the other bits and pieces we got too. We get to see a little of I think it's Agora is the name of the guy's city, and we got to see Hot Rod, and we got to see the G.I. Joe ladies. I don't remember what they're called. Heading towards Earth, and so like, yeah, it's a lot. That's great, but it's also like a lot. And like you said, we even got one page of the random dude that's just like going on.
Yeah, it was weird.
We get the 3-headed Transformer guy.
Yeah,
and I'm just like, that was a lot for 21 pages. Like, cool. I like being able to see where all we're going with these things, but that was maybe a little bit too much spread out from it being like an excellent issue.
A lot happened for sure. I think that happened in a lot of books this week.
Yeah.
Hold on. I'm trying to fix my camera because I want to be able to read chat, and I hate looking over here to read. So I'm trying to like center myself and then get rid of. So give me 1 second. Technical issues. Let's go here and then this over. Oh, can't. Okay, so then we're gonna have to. So then we'll do this instead.
You broke it.
No, I didn't break it. No. I didn't break shit. There you go. Sorry, guys. Sorry. I just want to read chat, and it looks silly when I'm looking over here instead of down here. All right, so Joe brings up an very important question, and I think it's something that we should talk about. So, breaking news: Bleeding Cool reported that we should see comic prices going up soon due to Canada putting a 25% tariffs for America. Canada is where we get the paper that comes from for our comics. How will this affect your pull list, and what's this means for independent comics going forward? Holden says, rising prices won't make me drop a book I'm into, but could make me slow down on adding new books to my pull list. I'm actually considering Marvel Unlimited for less important titles I buy. Reason I mentioned independent comics is they will be forced to take bigger chances to do creator-owned books, right? Blame Canada. Nope, that's well, I see where you're getting that, but the funny part is I'm Canadian and know that this isn't going to help anyone who sells everything and buy it back from you guys. So why we make it more expensive for us in the long makes no sense. Probably someone trying to get payback for when the US put tariffs up on metal. I mean,
well, it's clearly that this is a preemptive
right
thing for the tariffs that the Trump presidency says that they're going to put forward. We're already seeing that like everywhere, right? Like we've already seen multiple countries saying they're going to do the same. Did you see? This isn't a political show, but did you see the open letter that the president of Mexico wrote to Trump?
Yeah, I've seen all this stuff. I mean,
beautiful.
I know. Again,
beautiful, and this is the way that you respond to any other person. This is concise. This is appropriate. Like it's not like a one side versus the other. Like it's like a clearly like let's come together and work together. And I just thought it was perfect.
Right. Listen, this isn't a political show, but when shit like this affects what we do and how we run the show, like we're gonna talk about it. And here's my thought. Do I think tariffs are coming? Yes. Do I think they're going to be as intense, or will they have as much of an impact as Trumpy thinks that they're going to have? They're not going to be as impactful in the sense of what he thinks they're going to do. I think they're going to be
in the helpful way.
Correct. I think they're going to be impactful in the sense of, like you guys are saying, we're probably not going to pick up as much books. I think companies, I think the comic like Image and Boom and all them, they're not going to take as much risks and print as much. And overall, it's going to hurt, and it's going to suck. So we'll just have to wait and see. I could dive deeper into my personal beliefs and what I think is happening, what I think will happen, but that's not this show. So I won't do it. But I do think there will be not as many books coming out, I think, and is this the straw that breaks the camel's back, and people start going into more of a digital buy? Potentially. It's definitely a possibility, so we'll have to wait and see, and that's gonna suck. It's gonna suck for comic book stores. But there are a lot of things that are going to suffer because of all this bullshit. But I mean, there's nothing we can do about it right now. When tariffs for metal went up 25%, I noticed that they'll probably happen with paper too, but it's hard to say how hard it'll hit compared to metal to make body panels and beams. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I think a lot of people are about to find out. Like, we fucked around, and I think a lot of people are about to find out. And whether it's up to you, whether to acknowledge and or accept that find out, because we're pretty damn good at lying to ourselves. You know what I mean? Like, it seems to be a common theme within this. If you're in the U.S., us lying to ourselves and what feels good and what doesn't, and what's the cause of that. And so, we'll just have to see how it rolls. But I will tell you this channel ain't going nowhere.
Nah.
We will continue to read comics, and we're going to try our hardest to support Ron and push in their shop and any other LCS, and push the idea of you need to read more comics. And that's that. So just know that we love everybody in chat, and that's that. So no matter what. So anyway, Patty, we here in the North need a change just a little bit, so who knows what will happen in the future. Yeah, it's all over the place. Let's just read comics. Why can't we just all just read comics? All right, let's keep going. One thing, U.S. implements tariffs would feel better if I thought our income leaders actually understood how they work. I mean, dude, they don't. Nobody. All right, let's move on to DC. Absolute Wonder Woman, issue number 2.
Go ahead.
That's the gas. Pick it away.
And I think it's been like pretty concise throughout the commenters, right? Like the way this is just a great book.
It's just a great book because it's so funny, right? Because one thing that we always complain about, or at least I do, is just like the impending relaunch of DC in their continuity.
Yeah.
And then when we finally get it, I'm like, oh my god, it's so good. But it is. And I think it's because you're taking a chance, right? You're taking a chance on a story that we know, right? That everybody knows. And so when there are subtle changes, but also dramatic changes, it's just fun. Yeah. And so when you read something, you're like, oh, that's how, Kelly Thompson decided to change it. Okay, cool. Like, that's badass. I think Absolute Wonder Woman is the strongest title right now out of the Absolute line. Like, there's it's not even close. Like, not even close. Batman's pretty good. It has its flaws. Superman's okay, and that's being gracious. I wasn't too. I mean, we only got one episode. We only got one issue. I'll give it some time, but I wasn't. It didn't floor me like absolute wonder. Like, this is just such a good book. I think the art style fits this book so well. It just has like a Greek mythology kind of style to it. I remember reading a book when I was really young about Greek mythology, and it kind of had the same kind of art style. Like, it was detailed, but it was also kind of messy and like abstract. And we kind of we get that here. And again, what I love about this so much is Wonder Woman feels like Wonder Woman in this book. She's kind of brooding. She doesn't give a shit. Like, she doesn't care about status. You're gonna take my help no matter what, and if I have to punch you in the face, I'll do it to make you listen. And that's what we got here. And I also liked that she kind of had this confidence about her, and then it ended up biting her in the ass. Like, because of the threat that was actually coming against her. Like, she knew that something massive was coming after she took out the basically the messenger monster, right? But she didn't realize how big it was going to be. And then when Death Incarnate shows up, you're like, oh fuck, you know, like, and she's like that on the beach. I thought the time jump, explaining her and what's his name, the love interest,
Steve.
I was gonna say Steve, but I didn't want to overextend. I thought that was done really well, even though when it first started I was like, wait, what are we doing? Like, you know, like when she's like, oh, Steve, I'm like, wait, what? But I thought how they explained how they met, it initially felt like, oh, this kind of feels forced, but once I got done reading it, I was like, oh, that's badass. That's really cool. So
yeah,
I don't know, thematically, writing wise, the new take on it, I'm here for all of it.
Yeah, I think that there's enough going on here that's familiar to make, you know, hesitant Wonder Woman fans stick around, but I think there's enough that's new. Not only that it's just new in general, but I don't know, if you look at the state of Wonder Woman comics for the past few years, I would say that there's just not a lot that has been going great for it. I don't know. Maybe I'm just wrong. I didn't read every single issue of the series that was coming out after what's the second Dark Metal, whatever that second one was, whenever she becomes the god or the cosmos or one of the big things. Like, I only read bits and pieces of that series and I wasn't impressed, and then had Tom King since then. I don't know, maybe that's just why I get super hyped for this. I'm also a huge Sherman fan too, so I love his art.
Joe, I think I see what you're saying. It says Absolute Wonder Woman is really good, but the hype is bigger than the book, in my opinion. If you actually look at what we got, it's basically basic as all. What more did we learn? It felt like issue 1 on the plot. I think this entire arc is going to be issue 1 on the plot, because we're reestablishing Wonder Woman as a character in this new mythos of the Absolute Universe. And I want to know more. And then again, this is just my opinion, right? Like, I could be like, some people might be like, well, I don't fucking care, and that's okay. But like, I think that this entire arc is going to be a setup to the next issue or the next arc. And so I'd rather have a whole 5-issue arc that feels like an issue 1 if it's establishing the character in a sound foundation. Yeah. Because how many DC books have we read where it's like, oh, here's issue 1, and then we're just off to the races on whatever we're doing. Yeah. And and the reason why they do that is because they know that a majority of the readers already know who Wonder Woman is, and we don't need to establish anything. We don't need to establish foundation. We can just go. And so I guess I can see both sides of the coin, where if you're a reader like me who is yearning for a new continuity, this is absolute gold. But if you're a DC reader and you're just seeing these subtle differences in an origin story, this is fucking boring. I can totally see that. I totally get that.
Yeah.
So I see what you're saying. I think for a lot of readers, I'm not saying a majority, but I think for a lot of readers, this is a fresh breath of fresh. This is a fresh breath. It's fresh. God damn it. It's fresh in the sense that we're taking our time. And to me, I think that's why I like it. And I feel like I feel like that's the same with Batman. I think it may be a little faster on Batman, Absolute Batman. Yeah. Superman, again, we've only got one issue, so we don't know. But I just think in the sense of like pacing, this book is the best out of the three right now. So
I totally agree.
Love the glimpse of the backstory on Nemesis, and loved that we got some actual Greek spoken. Yeah. Lord says all three Absolute books need to take the time to do the work to build characters so we can care about before they really dig in. Yeah, I agree with you there. All right, next up we have Detective Comics issue 1091.
Oh yes, I forgot you did not read this one.
No, I did not. I did not.
This is still good. This is still pretty good. So if you don't remember, because I don't think we just talked really briefly about the last issue. So what we're kind of coming across here is Batman is starting to feel his age. Yes, I know. He's starting to feel his age, and someone that he, from his past, that he like helped, that was like in trouble, and he like kind of built her up, and she is now gone, and she's some great doctor and has created some serum to make you feel younger and to help your aging and blah blah blah. And she's like, I want you, and she's only talking to Bruce. She doesn't know he's Batman, and she's like, I want you to take it. I want you to be a part of this and all this stuff. Like, we're past experimentation. Like, it's going to work. And he has a lot of reservations about doing that because he's Batman and everything has to be about him being punished and everything being fair. And so he literally calls Superman in to have like a heart to heart. Is like, is this something I should do? And Superman's like, yeah, you're dumb, man. Like, you being healthier and stronger and feeling younger is just going to help you do what you do more. And that's just going to save more people. And Batman's like, but it's not fair. Everyone should have this. And he's like, well, then fucking figure out a way for that to happen too. But you take it first so that you can have the wherewithal.
Right.
And then, so that's like the main motivator of this first arc of Tom King's story. We've got a little bit of a background story in there too. Somebody is specifically hunting down young adolescent criminals, like just turning 18 or 16-year-old criminals, and killing them. And so Batman's trying to figure out, what's going on there as well. It is good. It's not as strong of a start as Nightwing. But it is a different take. I think I said this last issue. So more classic take on detectives, like back to, like, it's felt like a detective story. The first issue did too. This one feels like a detective story. And I don't know. My favorite Batman stories are detective stories, so maybe I'm a little biased, but I'm enjoying it so far. And Mikhail Janin is on art, and I always really enjoy his art. So
I'm gonna say something that's gonna shock you in the sense of like not necessarily this issue, but like I think I've completely committed outside of like a select few titles of DC, but I'm out on most current DC continuity books. And one that I went back on my pool and was like, all right, what am I taking out? I'm dropping Batman.
Huh?
I'm dropping Batman.
Zdarsky's? Before it finishes?
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
I don't know.
You're literally like you're gonna have 3 empty.
Yeah.
Have like a full selection.
You can't. No, I'm ripping it. I'm just ripping it. I'm sorry.
That's a bad take there.
No, it might be, but I think we're all allowed to at this point.
I guess.
Joe, but we just talked about the price of comics. Should we pay $25 on something comics had been doing in 1 or 3 issues for decades? I get that. I just think if the story is compelling enough for you, and the writer, you enjoy the writer enough, then yes. But if you don't, then no. Like prime example, like I'm dropping Zdarsky before his run ends. I'm kind of tired, and I think it's my justification for it is I am just having more fun with the absolute line of comics than the current continuity of DC Comics. It's just where I'm at right now. Like, and with Marvel, I think it would be same with Marvel if I have a more of an affinity towards Marvel. So like I'm digging what the current line of 616 is doing and the Ultimate line is doing. I think they're both working pretty well in tandem. But that's not to say I'm not reading certain Marvel books. Like I'm not reading Venom. Like I'm just not doing it. Like there are a lot of people that are digging Venom, and there are a lot of people that aren't digging Venom right now. So, you know, in X, like I'm being more selective with my X because I'm giving like 1 or 2 issues, but it's buffering on my end. Yeah, we're dropping frames. I can't.
No.
We've been dropping frames, but you know. I don't know what else to do. I don't know what to do. All right, let's move over to Marvel. So we have Amazing Spider-Man issue number 62 from Kelly. I enjoyed the issue. I'm still digging this kind of Sorcerer Supreme kind of version of Spider-Man fighting off. What do you say? What's the name of the
I don't remember. Sidorak,
yeah.
Like
I'm digging it. I liked seeing the rest of the children who he's gonna have to fight. I like the dynamic. I like that this isn't a typical Spider-Man story, and it's just kind of a fun, wacky, silly kind of what if but not storyline. So I don't really have much to say out of it at that. I did like Spider-Man using the finger of God to kill this version of, or the child of Sarak or whatever his name is. I liked that. I thought that was really kick-ass. So, and I also hope that we get a Marvel Legends action figure of this suit, so I can put it up on my wall.
Oh,
because it's badass.
Yeah, I will not be reading this anymore after this issue. I mean, I jumped on just because it sounded interesting and different. I really like Ed McGuinness on Spider-Man. I think he's my favorite Spider-Man artists. And Joe Kelly's experience, so I thought, yeah, let's go for it. But part of it is that the story is just not. I'm not a big Doctor Strange aspect of Marvel comics, so that's kind of going against it. I was hoping Doom would be a little more involved, so that's kind of.
He's not even exist either.
Yeah. And ultimately, and this isn't the book's fault, but it's still one of the main reasons why I'm not reading it. I'm not interested in a stupid, lonely idiot Parker who makes his aunt mad and can't hold down a job, is a bumbling buffoon with stupid bad jokes, when I have the clearly better version of Spider-Man we always wanted in Ultimate. It makes this version of Peter Parker so much worse seeing the one.
It's campy as hell. It is.
Yeah. But and if that's some people love that Spider-Man part, and that's cool. You know, I'm not saying this is a bad book. I'm just saying I'm not going to read it because I don't care for this version of Spider-Man.
Yeah, he needs to get back with Black Hat. Hell yeah, John. I don't know. Like, I guess for me, it's not as campy as the other run that we started to read with the Game War and all that shit. Like, I did not give a fuck about that. So like this is like the kind of Spider-Man I'd like to read if I know it's going to be campy.
Yeah.
So, all right. Oh shit. All out of line. Justice League Unlimited. What did you think? I'm interested.
It was nothing excited me about this book. I was expecting a little more from this creative team.
I thought the art was good.
Oh, the art was fantastic. Yeah, Dan Moore is fucking doing great. Like, he does what he does. And there were some parts that were funny. You know, Mark Waid has some good jokes. I like the idea of this book. I love the idea of this book, that the Justice League is an unlimited source of help for the world, that they're always going to be around, that there's always a team to go help and a specific kind of team to go help. I love that idea. We didn't really get much of the execution in this book. I don't think we were intended to.
I think Tornado did a really.
He talked about it, but we didn't really see it.
Well, the group that he sent out was specific to that threat.
Sure.
But how I'll compliment what you're saying is you can't articulate that in one issue. You know what I mean? Like, because we had, well, I guess you can, but you can't. It's hard because there are two threats, right?
Yeah.
There's the one with Superman and Sapphire and Wonder Woman and Bolt. But then there's Batman and who was the other person that was with them? Who was with them?
Oh shoot, I don't remember. Beetle.
Blue Beetle. Where I felt like the book lost me was the split. Right? We've got this threat of these mega death wheels taking out a civilization, and you're like, oh shit, right? And then we jump to Batman, and we're looking at these like cyborg alien eggs.
They're literally xenomorph cocoons.
Yeah, and you're like, what the fuck is going on? And so like when comics do that, like they're in certain times comics can pull off the double narrative really well. And I think in this issue it didn't work because, and I think it's because of the pacing. When you're with Superman and his team, the pacing is, it's so fast, it's quick, it's violent. And then with Batman gonna do what Batman do, which he's a detective. Yeah. And so you would get these 1-2 page snippets of what Batman's doing, and then you jump back over to Superman. So like your attention was not divided, I believe, in the right way. Yeah. And I think you're spot on. The idea of this book, I think, is going to be really cool. But if it's not executed properly, I'm going to drop off pretty quick. It's gonna have to do some work. That being said, the hook at the end with this new group, the Inferno, I do like. And this new character from Austin, Texas, whatever his name is, Flash, or I don't remember his name, but he's being solicited to essentially take down the Justice League.
Oh, I forgot that, and that was to me that was so deflating. I don't care about that at all.
I kind of saw it coming from a mile away. Like when he showed up, I was like, this guy ain't good, or he's got ill intentions. And we've seen that before, right? We've seen that before with Mark Waid, with Thunderboy or whatever his name was, in his World's Finest run. Yeah. So like it's kind of playing on something that we've already seen before. I'm gonna give it an arc. Because it's Stan Mora. Sure. But I think the execution of this issue was not. It could have been done. I believe the execution of the pacing was just not as peak as I know Mark Waid is capable of. I'm not gonna say Dan Mora. Dan Mora was he executed whatever Mark was asking him to do flawlessly. Yeah. Joe, Justice League Unlimited was chaotic. Reminds me of the Absolute Power event. Felt all over the place. And villains monologuing at the end was so 1950s villain talk. So too cheesy. I mean, I think that's been Mark Waid. That's been Mark Waid on World's Finest, like. So I see what I've been wanting but haven't been getting in World's Finest here in Justice League. But the pacing and the narrative, the split of narratives and talking between the two I do agree with you, it felt very chaotic. So we'll have to wait and see. I'm hopeful for it. I am hopeful for it. And I'll disagree with Nate. Like I kind of liked this up and coming hero who's been sent to sabotage. Like, will Superman warm his heart and he won't do it? Of course. Or he'll do it and then immediately regret it. Some shit like that, like it'll be like that. All right, let's get back over to Marvel. Ultimate Black Panther. It's all set up. We have the Ultimates version of Ultimate. We have the Ultimates version of Sorcerer Supreme in this issue. They broke her out of prison, Aurora and Killmonger, and she displays her power and just how powerful she is. Yeah. That's really this issue in a nutshell. She's able to essentially call forth. She's kind of got like Aquaman powers, which is kind of weird. She's able to like call forth a megalodon from the ocean and eat a helicopter. It's kind of crazy. Yeah. And then she heals Killmonger because he gets shot because there's these people hunting her. that's basically this issue in a nutshell. Also, Black Panther has a bad dream, and I'm just being totally upfront. He has a bad dream, and some kind of cosmic spiritual entity basically tells him like him and Vibranium are one and the same, and he'll never be able to not live with the suit. You know, he basically, the suit is him and him the suit, that kind of thing. So
Gotcha.
We're just building to a head. We're building the team, and we'll see who's going to betray him, because I do feel like there's a betrayal coming. We just don't know who it's going to be. My money is still on Storm, which is weird.
Oh, interesting.
I feel like Aurora is going to flip sides. Just that's how it is. First day of Justice League in 3 different crises pop off. Yeah, you're right, Jeff.
Exactly.
100%. All right, Uncanny X-Men issue number 6. I mean, I can't say enough. I love this book. It could be as chaotic as it wants to be, and I'm going to be absolutely in love with it. I think Simone has done a wonderful job of really encapsulating the voices of each character. Love Rogue, love Gambit, love Nightcrawler, love the new students, love Jubilee. I even like Wolverine in this book. I think Wolverine has more depth in this book than he has in his own book.
Yeah,
I like it, and I like that we're focusing in on these new characters, these new kids. I like that we're following them into high school. If there's any one actual criticism of this book, is there's a lot going on in it, and it's a bit chaotic. Not as chaotic as Justice League, but it was a little chaotic. It does feel like we are sprinting to this X-Men versus X-Men team event that's coming up here very soon. That's really all I have to say about it. I loved the issue though. Like I couldn't wait to get to this. Like I didn't read it first. I waited and I let the suspense build. But I still do believe that the Uncanny X-Men is the strongest X title currently in the X-Men.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Yeah, I really enjoy this issue too. The art is so good. It's so good. I like the few different, storylines we got going. Then you've got Horse Girl being taken, and Wolverine's got PTSD, and it's like, okay, like we're doing some stuff here. I'm curious if we're gonna get as much attention on the backstories of these other new characters as we did with Horse Girl this issue.
I think we are.
I would hope so. I would hope that we do get that.
No, I think it calls for it. If you're gonna give that much attention and history behind this character to really understand where she's coming from, which is she's in denial. She's been born and raised to be in denial of her mutanthood. I think we'll get that with everybody else. And I think I can't personally say that I'm looking forward to anyone out of the other. I'm looking forward to all of them. I want to know. I think that's how well Simone has written this, which is we have come to absolutely cherish these characters, these new characters, in 6 issues. I think it's so badass. Like, I'm like, hell yeah, I'm ready. Like, I want to know more about them. I want to follow them. I want to see where they're going to go. I want to see how they're going to train, how they're going to have to hold themselves accountable in school so they don't get in trouble. Like, I'm here for it. I'm here for all of it. So really excited for that. John says, anyone excited for Ultimate Wolverine? I am. I saw some panels for it. Looks really cool. And I am not a big Wolverine fan. Like, I'm not a like, he's not my favorite character. Yeah. Right. But I'm looking forward to it because everything in the Ultimate Universe has been kick-ass. So why won't this?
Do we know the creative team on that?
I don't, but I know it's going to be good. I am a Winter Soldier Wolverine. Ground Bear. What LOL PTSD for the character that fought multiple wars and lost thousands of people is so weird way to take Logan.
Yeah.
I mean, but I still think it makes sense. I mean, the dude, he keeps on losing his memory and then losing his friends, and like, I thought Rogue was going to go in a different way in the sense that she was going to say, I don't want to be a part of that because that means I got to think about my death. Like, I thought that's where she was going with it. So when she said PTSD, I was like, wait, whoa, that did not see that one coming.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I got to eat my words.
Oh,
that's Capuccio on art.
There you go.
and Chris Condon, who's doing the new, who's picked up Green Lantern. He did the like This Texas Blood, and all those
Right.
westerns.
Yeah.
Which,
So
by
you're
the
gonna-
way, since we didn't put it on the show, I'm curious if anyone else read Green Arrow. The
Oh yeah.
I did read it, and I was intrigued enough that I'm going to read the next issue. I like this.
Hmm.
This literally is like exactly a Batman story, just with Green Arrow.
Green Arrow.
As far as like a super traditional, dark, paneled, behind the scenes detective story.
Mhm.
But I liked it, and so
Okay.
I'm gonna keep reading it. And if it's good enough, we'll throw it back on the show. But I'm curious if anyone else is reading, because if it's only me, then I'll just keep it a secret.
I'm sure somebody else is. There's got to be somebody else on the show reading it. All right, our last book of the night, West Coast Avengers, issue number 1 from Gary, Jerry, and Kim. Right off the bat, love this cover. I said it on New Comic Book Day. I love the cover. I liked a lot of things about this book.
Okay.
But there's one thing that just does not sit well with me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the continuity. Surprise.
Surprise.
And you'll say, wait, Jim, but there is continuity. Iron Man explains why he doesn't have his Iron Man armor on and why he's using the Silver Centurion armor, which is my favorite armor. And what I'll say is, yes, they explained why he's in this armor because of his current ongoing. They did not explain why Tony is on the West Coast with the West Coast Avengers while still being on the main Avengers book with Jed McKay.
Yep.
That does not make sense to me. I am not saying that what they're doing in this book is not cool or valid. I think it is. I think it's a badass concept of kind of rehabilitating some villains so they get them off the streets, but also using them and being useful in fighting crime. Great. Love it. Liked the humor in the book. I like seeing Tony not having enough juice in his old Centurion suit that he has to ride a electric scooter to battle. I think that's really fucking funny. Loved it when he showed up and people are like, "Are you serious, Tony?" He's like, "Can you just jump my suit?" Like, I loved that. I'm intrigued by Ultron. I think Ultron's going to be kick-ass. And I'm intrigued by the 2 versions of Ultron. Spoilers. And this new event that seems to be popping out of West Coast, which is the Religion of Ultron, or whatever it was called. I don't remember what it was called.
It's that basically.
Something like that. And I like Starfire and her dealing with PTSD, in having a hand in killing off an entire race of mutants. Like, I like where that's going.
Mm-hmm.
If there are 2 things that I don't like, it's the continuity, the lack of it, or lack of only having continuity in one aspect of the story, but not the other. And I know that's trivial and that's on me, but I don't care. It's my show.
Yeah. Exactly.
And the art was meh. There were times, there were panels I was like, this looks really kick-ass. But then there were panels that I was like, this just feels either inconsistent or rushed. It definitely doesn't match the cover, like, at all. And that's, I mean, granted, we don't ever really get that a lot. We don't get a cover artist doing the internals. I get that. But like, the expectation set on the cover, you're like, here we go. And then you open it and it's like, that's not even 50%. I'm not saying it's John Romita Jr. bad. I'm not saying that, but it's just not for me. Will I get the next issue? Yes, I'm going to read the arc. It's going to go by an issue by issue basis, but I'm not putting it on my poll. I'm just going to, and I'll let you say your part, Nate, and then I will add to it because I think you're valid in that criticism.
Which
is that we're both kind of Iron Man'd out.
Oh yeah, totally. Honestly, like when I first tried to read this book, because it opens up right in the very first, or actually I guess it's not the first page, it's the 3rd page, and it's just like, I'm Iron Man and this is what's going on in my life. And I was like, I actually don't fucking care at all. I am so tired of seeing Tony Stark. Like, he's not a character I actually even like to begin with. And so like the oversaturation right now, I tried to read his new ongoing and shit. I don't like him in the current Avengers. It's too much. It's too much for me. And so I was like, I don't know. Jessica felt very one-dimensional in here. The Ultron thing is interesting. Did not care for my first impressions of the Blue Lightning guy. Blue Bolt, sure, whatever. I don't know. I'll let you read the second issue and tell me if I.
You're breaking up a bit, but I think I got the gist of what you're saying. Yeah, I just don't. I don't like the current ongoing Iron Man. I don't like it at all. So when they were referencing it, I was like, why are we referencing that and not what he's doing over in the current book? So Lord says Iron Man is quickly losing me, and that's my favorite Marvel character. Iron Man running 2 Avengers isn't that crazy. Y'all got full-time jobs and run an awesome comic YouTube channel. Multitasking is king. I get that, Joe. I don't know. Like, just reference the continuity. Iron Man showing up on the scooter with 2 car batteries taped to his chest was funny as fuck. I agree. DC feels much more interconnected than Marvel does right now. I could see that. Art was weak, but the character interactions was fun and cool to read. I agree, Joe. I think that's where I'm at. I think the art was unfortunate, but the story and the characters I like. I like this kind of dynamic. So yeah, we'll see. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this week's live episode 196 of Two Fat Guys Pools. Thank you guys again for watching, and I do apologize for any drop frames or buffering. I'm trying. I really am. I don't know what else to do except maybe potentially get new internet, but it's really hard for where I live. Haven't read yet, but I'm predicting Ultron will be the reason to come back. Yeah, I'm sure. I think that's the biggest hook in this book, and we'll just have to wait and see where it goes. But anyway, thanks again for watching. I'm just gonna him because you're freezing out. Thanks again for watching, and we'll catch you guys for another fresh new comic book day this Tuesday, where we're talking about all of our new pools. Should be a good one. And then on Wednesday, God willing, if I get the edit done, and I'm sure I will, we'll have a new Secret Origin episode dropping with Ayodele, who is writing the current Storm book, and I'm so excited for y'all to hear what we talked about. I think it was a really important conversation, and I'm just glad that he was able to jump on. We recorded at 7:00 at night our time, and it was 2:00 in the morning in Nigeria where he was when we talked. So that's pretty crazy. I'm so glad that he was able to jump on with us. But I thought issue 2 of his ongoing was an improvement over issue 1. I like the sword. I haven't read issue 2, but issue 1 was hard. Maybe I'll look at it. Maybe I'll go look at it. I don't know. I didn't like it at all. Anyway, thanks guys for watching. We'll catch you guys on Tuesday, and then again this coming Sunday for another fresh new live episode of Two Fat Guys Pools. As always, comic fam, be kind to one another and read more comics. Talk to you guys later. Bye.
Bye.